You're watching News at Prime. Let's get into this conversation now. ANC Tripartite Alliance partner, the SACP, has snubbed the ANC's invitation to reflect on the 100 days since the formation of the Government of National Unity. It's repeatedly expressed its dissatisfaction with some parties in the GNU. Let's get some detail now, and we speak to the SACP's first Deputy General Secretary, Madala Masuku. Mr. Masuku, good evening to you, and thank you very much for your time. You'll correct me if I'm wrong here, but the understanding is that from the weekend's media briefing that you held, coming out of your Central Committee meeting, it is the SACP's official program or official stance to oppose the Government of National Unity. If I have that correct, does that mean that people like Bladen Zemande, people like Budima Namela will not and would not have been at what we saw being celebrated, or at least reflected upon, in the words of the ANC leader Cyril Ramaphosa? Were they part of the events at Luthuli House today?
Good evening, Xoli, and good evening to the viewers. Xoli, when we went to the elections, we had a sitting where we say, as the party, we wanted a reconfiguration. But we see that Capital has exploited that engagement and want to deal with the movement as a whole through taking out the ANC. So we can't go into the election and talk about another messaging. So we need to work with the ANC, and we must agree that while we haven't concluded the issue of reconfiguration, can we put in a minimum program and a joint manifesto that is reflective of a minimum of what a reconfigured alliance will be like? Yeah. So the priorities that are in the manifesto of the ANC is our priorities. It's our priorities. Okay. So we went, all of us, and we went to campaign. Yeah. And we did say, and it's a reflection that we did before the elections. Yeah. You would remember that before the elections in our 15th Congress and also in our first CC, that if we continue the way we do and we don't change the way we are going to have, we're likely not going to win these elections.
Mr. Masuku, I'll crystallize my question to you. You have said, as the SACP, you are boycotting the 100 days of the GNU.
I want to counter that.
And if that is what you have, that is your program, are SACP cabinet ministers? Yes, of course, there is no such thing as an SACP cabinet ministers, but are leaders of the SACP, at least some of them, were they part of that event tonight by virtue of them serving in the Government of National Unity?
Yes.
They were?
Yes. Xoli, I was talking about elections. Yeah. We lost the elections. Not us, not the ANC alone. We were joined in that loss of election, in the losing going to 40%. And in our analysis, when you look at the analysis of your loss, it's not people incentive, it's not the bourgeoisie, the capitalist class, it is the working class that 60% have said have moved. And in our view is that it means the working class is saying, you're no more talking on our behalf. So we said to the ANC, when we go now, now that we have lost, can we have a session to discuss that? We didn't have that. But in any case, they did consult us later on to say, we are busy negotiating. And then we said to them, when you go and negotiate, these are the parameters that you think will help you. Because you have lost 60% in the working class, please, when you build that, build it in such a way that your relationships are talking to the working class. Yeah. They are not talking to the bourgeois. So they decided, no, we are going to do it differently, and we're going to, and we must correct it. It's not the GNU. We are saying we said to them, putting in the DA in a collective to go forward, it's a problem because the ruling class of the West is represented by the DA. And this ruling class, which is capital, has been attacking the ANC and want it down. So you can't take the same posture with it. Okay. You rather look for something else. So in this case, we have rejected any coalition or any collective coming that has got a DA. But the ANC has got a right to decide to which direction they want to take. Right. They have taken that route and were saying it's a very problematic route and it's going to create a problem. And all the things that we have outlined here, you will be lying to the people who are going to make a lot of noise. We may end up over-promising when we have created a constraint ourselves. Okay. With the DA. So coming to the question that you're saying, why are these members not going out? No, they can't go out because we're in the alliance with the ANC. The 40% is a collective alliance. And when we're forming this government, when they were forming this government, we got consulted in relation to say, these are the people that we want there within this capacity to assist. So go and go with them and go and implement that. But we don't believe that you are going to do anything, any movement that is serious with this.
Mr. Masuku, my questions to you may seem simplistic, yeah, but that's to help the viewer come along with what we are trying to distill here. And for us to do that, we need to speak in simple language. Simple. So people like Bladen Nzimande would have been outside Luthuli House today because he's a minister in this GNU, but he also is the chair of the SACP.
And he's also a member of the ANC.
He's also
a very senior member of the ANC.
That's fine. Yeah. That's well and good. People like Butima Namela would have been outside there today.
The NSC of the ANC.
Right. It wasn't long ago when you said you want to test the viability of the SACP, again, frustrated by the very same ANC you are frustrated with today. And in the Free State, you mounted your own campaign at a local level, and you wanted to contest the elections as independent of the ANC. Yeah. It fell flat.
Didn't fall flat.
Fine.
I'll tell you.
So I'm trying to build my case here. All I'm saying is that the SACP, in the eyes of the South African public, you say one thing, you do the complete opposite. Why should any South African take you seriously as the SACP?
Look, Goldie, we are in the alliance with the ANC. We are in the alliance. We haven't broken the alliance.
Why not? No. It's not working.
No. We are in the alliance with the ANC. And the reason why we're in the alliance, it started long ago in 2028, and with the intention of building momentum that is going to liberate the people of South Africa. So we are in a discussion now that is saying, no. We have gone into 1994. We have said, all of us, what must inform the program of South Africans must be based on this person that is now liberated thinking independently.
I have to interrupt you.
Yes, this person that is
I have to interrupt you, Mr. Masuku, because when you say you are in a discussion now, your own statement, press statement from the weekend, makes it simple that you have not met as an alliance.
I want to come there.
Post the May 29 elections. So who are you discussing with?
Look, we are in a discussion, and this discussion is the one that has produced also this manifesto. The issue that is creating this problem that we're having now is that these discussions are inconsistent. And now, just after the setback, the joint setback, we haven't met, and we're saying it can't be. We cannot continue like that and keep on massaging each other when we're not meeting. Yeah, you
following
get that.
you.
So we are saying to the ANC, that discussion is the one that we're supposed to be discussing the class content of our constituency, how it is formulated. Now the class content is showing that those who are poor, they are beginning to move away from you when it was your major constituency. So what is the meaning of that? It means that the programs are wrong. Can we discuss this program and change them?
I have 2.5 minutes.
And if we can't, can we then discuss and find a way of handling the issue of it?
Well,
so that's why we don't disagree.
As you talk about a hoped discussion, a bilateral between the ANC and the SACP was pushed aside today. And this was announced by yourselves, including the Secretary General of the ANC. That was put aside.
No, we didn't agree today because, number one, it was based on the fact that the ANC, when we were supposed to deal with serious issues, we then put the last interaction that we're supposed to have, which is a Lehota to discuss the post. Remember, it was put when we were having a 103 anniversary, and we said no. And this one again, you know that we've got a central committee. You put a bilateral, you put 100, what we call 100 days anniversary in the same day. So we couldn't agree with that because it's pushing aside and making this discussion a minor. That's what makes us to say, no, we can't go there.
Final question to you, sir.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, time has run out.
Okay.
The Secretary of the ANC in KZN, Begim Dolo, I have to say to you, I listen to him, but it's not every day that he says things that stay with you. And this message stuck with me, that in the eyes of the SACP, anything that is black must be seen as progressive. And he reminds us that Lucas Mangope, who was a Bantustan leader at the time, was not a progressive just because he was black. He talks about Opa Kozo in the Siskai. He was black, but it didn't mean that he was in unison with the direction that South Africa needed to take at that time, which was to fight the apartheid regime. And so, in the SACP's eyes right now, anything that I guess appears white, and you'll correct me if I'm wrong, anything that appears white is anti-progressive, but anything that is black must be seen as progressive. I'm saying to you words that were said by Begim Dolo. How do you respond to that messaging as the SACP, that your leader is not scientific in his tools of analysis when you look at the political landscape today?
Let me start by saying Beki is the one who gave you an analysis that is going to win KZN. And he lost it up to 17%, up to around below 20%. So his scientific analysis, how serious we should take it. Number two, Beki is making reference to the fact that he would have trusted people who have been leaders of the party who are now dead. So should we also analyze him on the basis of leaders who were there before him in relation to how he deals with things and the way he's... But in any case, he talks about black and white. When I never spoke about black and white, he spoke about class. Talk about class.
All right, Mr. Masuku.
The capitalist class and the working class and the poor.
I've run out of time, Mr. Masuku, but let me say this to you. Let me say this to you. The president tonight points out that it's not the first government of national unity. At least for him, this is a government of national unity. It's not the first government of national unity that is led by the ANC. Nelson Mandela ran the same. And who was part of that government of national unity? Was it the Boers? Was it the Afrikaners who were part of it?
Who was in the opposition?
Were Afrikaners part of the government of national unity in 1994?
No, I'm asking who was in the opposition? You see, no. And I don't want to get into an argument with the president, because we're still going to have our meeting where we're going to clarify ourselves. But this where we are now, we are beyond that. Now we're supposed to be dealing with what is it that has delayed us the 30 years up to now, that made us not to change things. And in our view, we think that is the policies that were neoliberal, which were capital, that are actually in the center of DA.
All right, Mr. Masuku.
And which we should have changed and moved into another trajectory. And the only way that we could do it when you do this unity now, it was to unite the left. Those who believe that in the left project, because now we are going to be, you see, we have got clearing houses. What is this clearing houses all about when we say the manifesto of the ANC is going to be implemented fully? What are you clearing?
All right.
Are you going to clear and say, you shall follow the manifesto of the ANC?
Mr. Masuku,
we're
completely out of time. I'll have to invite you some other time.
It's just a snippet. I don't want, these are things that we'll discuss them.
Yeah.
Because we have to find each other. The fact that we didn't have meetings, we can't find each other, and we hate it, we don't want this. Once we find each other, they will be clarified. That's why Mtolo talks black and white when we talk class.
Madala Masuku, thank you very much
for
your time.
Thank
the
you very much.
SACP's first Deputy General Secretary.